Hello everyone, how you doing today? Thought I'd get another Creel update going on. I got some new stuff to show. And some, well, basically not necessarily new entirely, but some completed projects here. To start with, we got an updated version of SCARLI's pretty good sized POI. This one, the body has been completed now, and it is looking very, very nice. Well defended too. If you can see, there's a lot of turrets around this structure at all angles, pretty much. So it should be a fairly tough POI to even get into, and we'll see how tough it is after that. On the other POI, I've got this one complete now and sent out for rigging. On the last video, I was kind of showing not this floor, but the floor above it, kind of working this section. I did a little bit more with it since then. Did a few more texture combination tweaks. Added in a little elevator thingy over here. Put in a couple generators back over here. This actually goes out to one of the many decks this has on it. And then finish the floors above it as well, or the floor above it, I should say. This one I opted out and I didn't put in another level over here. Instead, kept an extra tall ceiling in this area, but did put in a balcony structure around the edge over here. And got the staircases kind of complete, and this back area goes a little bit further back, and then the core location is up over here as well, kind of protected with these grates that have a fair amount of hit points. So this one is pretty much ready to go. Now a couple other things that were done to it, and one's based on a comment. Here, let me get daylight here for now. There we go. It was brought up that these doors are really weak, and that is very true. They are very weak. 250 hit points for these ramp doors, and they're not airtight. So what I did is put in a full-fledged hangar door on the other side of that, which has a lot more hit points, 2580 hit points on this. So that should make it a lot tougher. A bit, and if someone thinks that they can blow these doors out real quick and gain entry to the base, then they're going to discover a hangar door behind that yet. So it's just mean. I added some more turrets on this side. Put a couple just one-of-a-kind ground turrets down over here, and then another one of these turret assemblies I actually borrowed from a different base. And a couple more turrets up top here too. So I think the protection on this is better. Again, it should have defense from all angles. I'm trying to find what would be the weakest point if I were going to shoot at this base with a SV or HV or something, and I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe directly from the side. Maybe, I don't know. I have to play with that. But so this one is done and ready. A good chunk of my time was actually put into the Creel starter CV. And this one had some more body work done to it. I modified these front arms quite a bit from where they were last time, and made it a little bit more like the Creel Ghast, and they're a little sharper and extend out a little bit more. Still has the locations for the 6 mining drills that you can install on this particular starter. It has the 6 turrets. They're all retractable on this one, so you got 2 bottom turrets and 4 top turrets. Spec wise, it is a tier 2. CPU comes close to hitting tier 3, but it's a little bit shy of that. It's set up to upgrade to a tier 3. There. Oh god, those hangar doors are so loud. I know I got the audio turned down in the video for that, but I hear it pretty loudly here. So here's what the ship looks like. The only thing that's not done on this ship yet is the LCD displays. And don't disregard what I've got there. That's not going to stay that way. I kind of almost want to go back to the drawing board and make new templates for LCDs for the different factions. But as I see now, what can really be done with LCDs by looking at like authors like Crazy Z and Subducicor, if I said that correctly, um, they're doing phenomenal things with LCDs and stuff I didn't even think was possible, and now I know it's possible. I sort of understand how they're doing it, but it would be a time-consuming thing. For the time being, I'm thinking I might just go with some generic LCDs, or basically take some LCDs from other Creel things and put them here for my information signs. And that's pretty much all it has. And then when A12 comes about, I'll have to be updating a lot of things anyway, and maybe I'll just update the LCDs with hopefully a new template that's much fancier than the existing ones by then. So, other things on the specifications of this ship. Has a 2 hour and 25-minute build time, requires no rear resources, unlock level 10. So it's right in the ballpark of the Wayfarer and the MCRN Pioneer. Now this one does require tier 3 blocks to add a shield. It does have a shield location over here as well as an additional generator location. This A on the floor here means armor repair. Has a spot for a actual repair bay and console over here. Then it comes stock with 3 200K storage, an advanced constructor, 2 small constructors, some extra cargo boxes, a couple on this side and a couple more on that side. Room for other things, maybe more fuel, air, or possibly a harvest storage system. Now, one dilemma I had with this is because you can mount mining drills to this, it would need harvest storage to collect that. And I can't really add that because I'm CPU limited on doing that, unless I wanted to cut the main storage of the ship, and I really don't want to do that either. So what a player could do if they decided to upgrade this and add the miners would be one of two things. One, they could swap out one of these controllers for a harvest controller and then have 200K harvest storage, or build a new one. Like this location over here, if you cut these 2 cargo boxes, filled this area in with cargo extensions all the way down to the ground, and added in a harvest controller, you could get a fair amount of harvest storage in here. Of course, it would need to be updated to tier 3 to do that. And then taxi tanks up on the ceiling here, Wi-Fi is right over here. Ventilator, I decided to make it more visible and put it right there. I kind of like how it looks anyway. Fits pretty good with the Creel. So moving on in the ship, the interior of the ship is basically an asymmetrical layout, like the MCRN Pioneer was. So you come into this mid room here, and it has a full medical suite of all the specialized medical equipment. I don't necessarily like the layout of how I got this, but I'm really cramped for space, especially with this front access door that's right here in the middle of the room. The O over here stands for offline protection, something else you can add into the ship. And then you have locations to add your tier 3 blocks here and here, where I currently have the single tier 2 block. So moving on to the ship, you get up to the bridge. Again, lacking the LCDs for the buttons or the switches here, but you have one for turrets, one for your thrusters, and one for the drone hatch. The drone hatch I moved from its previous location, and it is now kind of right here in the bridge area. It was priorly over here. I just felt it was a better location for it. And in the corner here, I managed to get in a little shower, bathroom, and a little bed and closet thing over there. So you got a little bit of a little place for the player as well. Again, it's a pretty tight ship and not a lot of room to be messing with here. Then you have your farm section. Not a big farm, 18 grow plots, smaller than the other two starter CVs that I've done. But you know, there's trade-offs. This one has more guns than the other ones too, so I had to, mix things up a little bit. The Creel are more of a hostile race natively, and so their stuff is always going to be geared with like military type stuff in mind. They're not really ever going to have like pretty fancy civilian structures. That's not what they're about. And of course you have your little hangar overlook here too. I try to do what I can with this, added something. But yeah, overall the ship is pretty much done short of the LCDs, and I'll probably get that wrapped up today or tomorrow on the LCDs, and should be good. Now another thing, this one's got a little backstory behind it. This is actually by author DOOmnoddle, and the origins of this particular craft are quite a long time ago. Excalibur had a little build-off 1-hour challenge to build a HV tank kind of thing, or I think it was pretty open on what you could build. I ended up kind of building a lot of, some of the hull here, but it was a 1-hour build. It was timed, and I was not even close to complete, and I ended up abandoning the build after that. So I never touched it again, and DOOmnoddle expressed some interest, and so I gave him this, and he finished it. So now it is a scout tank, and pretty cool. It's got looks like the 6 turrets on here. Interior space, nicely done. So it has all your good function in it. Med bay, a couple constructors, armor locker, switches for drone hatch. Like up over here, some storage. Let's see, what do we have here for storage? So we got that's 6,000 ammo. 6,000 there and 6,000 there. So yeah, 6,000 for ammo and 12,000 for regular storage. Very cool though, very cool. I'm so glad this is finished up, and it sounds like you will see this on the workshop pretty soon. So that'll be out there. Don't know what it's going to be exactly called yet. There's some names being picked out for it and whatnot. So we will see on that one. So on some other things, basically some plans and ideas that I've got moving on. Now I'm at the point now where I've got 4 of these 5 POIs kind of ready on my part. I'm still working on this one over here, which is probably the biggest of them, I think. And I started doing more and more work on the interior, trying to get the planning down and some basic block work. Obviously I haven't textured or done anything else with it yet. I'm just kind of working this part out. But this should make an interesting POI, and I think it's going to have some nooks and crannies into it due to its very strange shape, that I'm going to be able to put in some secrets and stuff more so on this one. It needs a little bit more body work though. It needs some more turrets and some other things yet too. So I'll keep working on this one. Eventually it will get done. Probably won't take that long. As in future projects, now a couple things I wanted to start doing too is we've got this space carrier here, and I want to try to set aside some time each week to keep on getting this thing finished. Some areas are I mean, very close to complete, and some areas are not complete whatsoever. So there is a lot more work to be done on this thing yet, and to get it all set and going. So I'm going to try to have regular updates on this until I can get it done. But I'm still going to be working on some more Creel stuff too, so I don't want to just dedicate myself just to this at the moment. Too much other things need to be done as well. So as in future Creel projects, what I was thinking about doing next after this first set of 5 here is the next task would be to create a Creel space station. Something I don't have yet, something I've never built for the race yet. Now with the space station, I want kind of like I want to build the player version first, and then because it's going to need the right kind of like layout so you can get to everything quickly, the storage, all the player function that you'd want in a space station. But then switch that around and put out a POI version of it as well. So I can build one and get a POI and a player base out of it. Now, in size-wise, it's not going to be a starter space station. I did the MCRN starter space station, and it's too limiting for Creel. I could build something like it, but it's going to be, I don't know, boxy, and it's not really what I want. I want something more elaborate, larger. In space, you can go up to size class 20 with POIs, if I got that right. On land, you can go up to size class 10 for a POI. So count on another space station, probably at least the size of the Hephaestus spaceport for that one. So okay, that's a size class 10 as well, so that's kind of right in the ballpark. So that's, and I got this weird shape idea in my mind. I don't know how it's going to translate to voxel blocks yet, but I will try, and I might do that Monday and make a little starter video on building it as well, see how it comes out. Got kind of a strange shape. Of course, with all Creel stuff, I'm trying to make this stuff look scary and Creel-like. So count on another exotic design for a space station. That's where pretty much everything's at right now, and pretty soon, once these all these bases or PIs get rigged and tested and stuff, they should be added to the official game. So you discover these on planets and things like that. Now this one, I don't know what it is, but for some reason I like this one a lot. I think it lost power. Probably because in regards of all the stuff I've built to date, I've never had a structure anything like this one. It's very, very unique from anything I've done before. So that's probably why I think it's kind of cool. I like the L-shape idea of it, and the fact that it's like kind of asymmetrical. It has a couple duplicate parts, like this part and that part are like 180 off from each other, but that's about it. The rest of it's pretty unique. But this, I keep on thinking, this could make a pretty cool player base too, but I don't know. It would be a high size class player base. I think this is currently sitting at 5 or just touched 5, but by the time I finish up the interior, this is probably going to be in the 8 range. I'm thinking 8 or 9, somewhere in there. It'll be below 10 though for sure. This one ended up being a size class 6 over here. So on that one, and that one over there is a little bigger. So anyway, I think that's all I've got for today. If you've got any questions, comments, please let me know. And other than that, I guess stay safe, everybody. And final thing, I should have this onto the workshop this Sunday with a post and all that stuff. So this one's coming pretty soon. I'm glad I got it pretty much finished up now. I'll look it over some more and find probably little problems here and there if I really start eyeballing everything closely. It hasn't had its final tweak detail session yet, but I hope it fits into the realm of good usable player starter ship with some trade-offs to comparable to the Wayfarer and the Pioneer. So then I was finally satisfied my goal of having a starter CV for all 3 races, and that is something I wanted to have out there. I felt every race needed to have a starter CV if you're trying to use that race. All right, well, you all have a good weekend, and I will see you later.